Hi, this is John with Sweet Memories Cooking. Welcome to What's for Dinner. Today we're going to talk about making a pork sirloin tip roast. Now, I love pork roast, but sometimes they tend to be a little bit dry, and I think that's because they don't have, like when you get a pork butt, there's a lot of fat on it and there's a bone in there. And the sirloin tip roast has less fat and no bone. So anyways, I came up with this recipe, and it's really spicy and flavorful, and I hope you like it. So let's get started. You want to start by getting into that spice pantry. You need brown sugar and chili powder, paprika, cinnamon, garlic powder, some kosher salt, black pepper. You could also use regular salt. I just like kosher salt better. Black pepper, cayenne pepper, olive oil. For this recipe, I used a 2-pound sirloin tip roast and then a couple of onions that I cut into slices. Now, I'll have this recipe up on the our Facebook group page, as well as on the website right below this podcast. So you don't have to write anything down. Well, let's get started. As always, I always tell you, lay all your ingredients out. It makes life a lot easier. So there they all set out, and you're going to start mixing those spices together. The brown sugar, the paprika, garlic powder, salt, pepper, chili powder. Put all that in there along with the cinnamon and the cayenne pepper and the olive oil. And you're going to mix that together, and then you're going to spread it all over that pork roast, and it's going to look like this. Really rub it in. Then take it and wrap it in plastic wrap and put it in the refrigerator. This is an important part because you're going to let that rest so all those flavors start getting absorbed into the pork. You want to do it for at least an hour, but the longer the better. If I have the opportunity, I do it the night before because this part only takes 5 minutes. The longest part is pulling out your spices. But anyways, wrap that up tight, let that sit, and then when you're ready, you're going to want to get a pan. I had an aluminum foil lasagna pan, and I took the onions and I sliced them up and lined them on the bottom of the pan, took the pork out of the plastic wrap, and then put it on top of the onions like you see here. And you can see that set. This particular one I did for 3 hours, and you could see it got all glossy and really started to get absorbed in there. The next thing I do is I add a half a cup of water to the pan, and I cover it with aluminum foil. And you're going to really want to make that a tight seal. Then you're going to put it in a preheated 300-degree oven, and we're going to bake this low and slow, as I like to say. This is probably going to take a total of 2 hours. So I usually like to do this on a Saturday or Sunday where I'm home and I have a little bit more time. But you're going to set your timer to an hour and add an hour check on it. Open it up, and the way you're going to tell really is that when you take two forks, it starts to pull apart a little bit. I check it in an hour, then every half hour, and like I said, it's going to take about 2 hours. And this is what it looks like when it's done. So you've got that beautiful pork roast all cooked up, and you've got that liquid in there, and you can see it looks all juicy and wonderful. So at this point, I remove the pork roast and I put it on a cutting board and I let it rest. And then I warm up these juices that are in the pan, right in that same pan, and I scrape the bottom of it and just let that come up to a simmer. What I want to do is reduce this down. Now there shouldn't be too much fat, but if it looks like there's a lot of fat, skim some of that off and leave the rest of that to simmer. We want, like I say, we want to reduce this down until it gets a little bit thicker. Meanwhile, when the pork is cool, take 2 forks and start breaking it apart. And you're going to shred it. It's going to be larger pieces like this. And then you're going to take that shredded pork and you're going to put it back into the pan with the drippings, and it's going to look just like you see here on the screen. You're going to mix all that together and get all those flavors going. At this point, you're pretty much done. Now, in this case, I chose to serve this over pasta, but you can have it on rolls, more like a pulled pork. You can use it as an entree, with maybe some potatoes and some vegetables on the side. But however you do it, you're really going to want to dig in and try this. Like you say, it's spicy and flavorful and has almost a jerk chicken flavor, um, real smoky. You're just going to love it. And I want to encourage you to try this at home. So, again, where can you find us? You can find the recipe on our Facebook site, Sweet Memories Cooking. If you're not part of that group, join it and you'll see this podcast and recipe along with the other ones, as well as on our Sweet Memories Cooking website. Now, if you go out to the website, you'll see other things. You'll see the podcasts, you'll see recipes, but you'll also see a link to our YouTube site where we've actually done videos where you can see my sister Patty and I actually preparing the food for you. There's newsletters. We've taken a break from doing a newsletter every month, but we've still archived all those newsletters there. You could also order a hard copy of our cookbook if you like. We put together a cookbook with all our sweets recipes, so the cookies and the lemon cookies and the pizzelles and the biscotti and the Easter breads, all of those are in that cookbook. If you want a hard copy, you can order it from there. And then if you want a digital copy, you can go to Amazon.com and search on Gifaldi and you can download a copy to your computer for, just a couple dollars. But whatever way you do it, I always want to encourage you to pass up that drive-through, spend a little time in your kitchen, creating some sweet memories of your own. Until next time, take care.